Good morning. What happened to summer? It's cold out there. We'll have to get used to it. Bye, Dolly's people. Pete Gursky has our invocation, our pledge, and our Rotary moment.
Actually, Marla came today, so she's got it.
Oh, you switched her.
Her child is as well.
Great.
I always have a back.
I'm ready. Marla, okay, thank you.
All right. Lord, make us truly thankful for these and all thy many blessings. Pardon our sins and save us, and keep us ever mindful of the needs of others. Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be always acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
of the things we think, say, and do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Got it. I guess my Rotary moment would be my first big service project, and it was pretty, I mean, I was a little intimidated. I went, and it was when we put the metal roof on top of the boathouse, and that was the first one, and after that I was like, oof, I don't know if I'm going to go to these again. But I did it. I got up on the roof, and I helped hold the metal in place, and I was very nervous. Max Fern was like, you have to be very precise here. So, but I did it.
Is that thing still standing?
Well, there's that one spot on the roof you're having problems.
Thank you, Marley. Tom Richardson has our, Tom, has our Sergeant at Arms report.
Got a packed house this morning. I'm quite sure of the sound of people in. I'll start with a guest. Dale Hopkins is here with Dennis Marcotte. Howard Triggers is always here. Stephanie Ashton is here with Jonathan Swift. Erica Parker is here with Chris Justice. And Brian and Ashley Kaiser are here. Jonathan also. Yep. Martin Bambala. Yes, this morning. A couple visiting Rotarians, Neil Wilcox from Summit. Deborah Friedman from Summit. I'll let this guy explain this. Richard Needham is guesting from Airport. You want to tell us what's going on?
Over the last 2 or 3 years, I have been, the good and bad news about Rotary, you can do makeups, and there's a lot of great activity in other clubs. And I started going, I'll probably to the airport club more than I go to this club. And of course, Robbie would probably say it's no big deal, but I felt like I needed to. I was asked to do some things, and I said, well, I'll just work with this. And I said, but I've got so many good friends at Gate City, I just can't do it right now. And I just, anyway, over the years and everything, it's like, and we're still friends. I still have a lot of friends here in the club, and we're still Rotarians. So, but I feel like I can be connected over there and do some good there as well. And this club's got so many good young people that brought in over the last 5 years. It would be a shame to not have it. But anyway, I am going to miss it. It is a hard, sad moment, but I'll be back for makeups. But anyway.
Kelly will introduce him in a little bit.
I will.
Thank you, Tom. Let's see, Dr. Walt, are you in the house? Football pool.
I are. Oh my gosh. Hey, you guys that just pick the favorites every week. Yeah, see what happened to you last week? They were all at the bottom of the list. It's kind of scary. But at any rate, there were a few upsets last week. In case you guys didn't follow the rules. And then going over your papers, it was kind of evident that you guys didn't plan on those. At any rate, Starting with the zero award. Rachel, are you here?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, you didn't win it, sorry. You and Hal and Sarah all got 7 out of 19. Now, I think if you flip a coin, you're going to get 50-50. So 7 out of, anyway. And then Hal and Sarah both picked the tiebreaker wrong, picked Clemson over Florida State. That was not really all that close. Sorry, the Tigers. And then Sarah forgot to pick between the UCLA and Stanford games, so you left one blank. But and I was trying to figure out, well, gosh, who's the most inept out of all these? And Hal picked the Heels over Miami. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then luckily I came to a big baseball previous champions, who only got 6. If you want to give a big bar,
Oh, God, that's somebody really nice.
you can say half for next somebody, that's right, somebody really nice brought me some bar.
Work for the six, too.
There you go. And
That was
now,
his plan, just to get them all back.
Here you go. Here's the squeeze and frustration. Yeah, there you go. Okie doke. Honorable mention, Steve, Danny, Mike Conrad, James Peter, all with 12. And 12 was not bad this week. There were a whole lot of 7s and 8s and 9s. But anyway, you guys did well. Ralph, where are you? 13. Yeah, found you. 13. That was good for second place. Randy Sheridan, not here today. So, by default, Ralph, congratulations.
All right. Number 1 to say
Come on, baby, here you go. This is a really nice cup, courtesy of Buster.
Here you go, just like, here you go, Ralph.
That's right.
I need one
That's a
too.
great cup. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anyway, sheets are on the tables. You guys all had great participation last week. Thanks, guys. A lot of fun.
Thank you, Dr. Wall. Birthdays, anniversaries,
Next
Kevin.
week, great prize.
There we go. We've got quite a few anniversaries this week. We have 2 sets of anniversaries on October 20th. The first one is Buster and Lewis. Or Lisa, excuse me, Lewis.
That's how I got my last name.
Works better when I've got my glasses on.
How many years, Buster?
34.
34. Fantastic.
She's up for sainthood this year, the Pope Francis.
Was Lisa a minor when you married her?
Child bride.
Coal miner.
Hey, that's recorded, remember?
I also have is Lisa and George Wigglesworth.
Ashley.
There's Lisa. We have an eye doctor in the club.
I am the product of a public education. There were cutbacks when I was going through school, and I'm still trying to overcome that handicap. On the 26th, let's see if I can get this one right, is Mike and Beth Allen. And also on the 26th is Chip and Carrie Pearson.
Yes.
Feels like a lifetime.
Thank you, Kevin.
Sure.
Fundraiser, Emily.
Fundraiser. Well, yes, you all know we're getting down to the wire. So lots of great things going on. Steve, you want to say a quick word about volunteering and how to sign up and how easy it is?
Sure. So hopefully everybody got the email that sent out. Doing things a little different this time. I've noticed with the Google groups or the Google Docs that had a hard time sometimes getting people to get on there and sign up. So my wife uses Sign Up Genius through her school. She's the volunteer coordinator, and it is slick. You just go on there. It has every possible time slot. You just click it, and you're done. I mean, it's very, very simple. Several have already. I think Marley did, and right? No. Not pointing out, but anyways, I know Rachel did, and Dennis did, and a couple others, so thank you for those who've already gone on. The one thing I will say is the only limiting factor to it was the Rotary Club. So if you're going to visit a Rotary Club, I didn't want to put in every single date that a Rotary Club meets, so I just put all of them up until the 8th of November. So if you're going to visit one, please visit them before the 8th so that they have time to participate. And so that's why I put, you'll see on November 8th, it has all the Rotary Clubs listed. Just pick whichever one, find the date that they're meeting. I even have on there the date and the time and the place, so you don't even have to go search for it. But it's very, very easy. Please go on and participate. We need everybody to make this a successful event.
Need everybody to participate. Yeah, if you are going to visit a Rotary Club, I have flyers and handouts and things you can take with you as well. We will need a lot of people during the event, but they're short slots, so you'll still have plenty of time to enjoy yourself, listen to the music, eat the barbecue. Again, just a reminder, so as you're selling tickets, when you need tickets together, you email Chris. Chris is doing all of our ticketing. Do you anything you need to let people know?
No, just keep the emails coming in. They're they've kind of slowed down this last week. So,
okay.
Yeah, if you've got those sales and you need a certain number of tickets together, just send me the email.
Yep. Okay. Can we say anything about the radio? Or?
We don't have that nailed down yet, but WKZL is going to give us some radio slots. We've got to work out the kinks. We've got to get somebody to talk on the radio, to put our ad together, but it's coming.
What was it about this truck thing you were talking about? Trying to get somebody to have trucks out in front of them?
Well, so we are still looking for a presenting sponsor, and we do think like a truck dealership would be a great tie-in. We think we can put trucks out
no
front.
old rusty trucks out there.
Yeah, not looking for people.
If you want to be a sponsor, we might make an exception. But it's muddy, rusty, we don't care.
So any questions or anything about the fundraiser? Everything's going for people? Doing good? Right. Did you want to say anything else?
Well, I did. I just wanted to remind everybody that we've got a month. Today's the 24th. This is on the 23rd of next month, so we got 4 weeks. Looking around the room, I'm looking at people who've worked on projects and things like that and put in for grants. How many people here have put in for a grant from the Gate City Rotary Foundation and gotten money? Okay? Gotten money for a cause. Jack, what's your favorite cause? What did you put in for? Just one sentence. Just one sentence.
Well, you're
quick.
stealing my thunder, since next week I'm going to give a presentation on the project. But for those of you who are new members that don't know, you'll see that one of the beneficiaries of Gate City's fundraiser is Free the Kids. Free the Kids is an orphanage project and community development project in Haiti that I started in 1999. But I'm going to hold the rest.
Right there. That's all I want. All right, good. Darlene.
My grants have been for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I think everybody's heard of Big Brothers Big Sisters, but the main emphasis there is that it prevents kids from getting in trouble down the road and just shows that somebody loves them and cares for them. So.
Bingo. Tom Sears, I know you've put in for grants before. Tell us about Youth for Christ.
I've been with Youth for Christ 15 years. We work with less privileged kids around here, reaching about 650 kids a week right now.
Yeah, who else? Who else has put in for a grant?
I have.
All right, right here.
My favorite cause is the Greensboro Children's Museum and the Edible Schoolyard. The favorite thing about it to me is that they have a program of after-school care for 15 kids once a week. And these are kids from a disadvantaged neighborhood, and they come in and teach these kids how to actually, well here, I'm stealing your thunder.
All right, I'm just asking for one sentence line. Well, and mine is enduring gratitude. We're helping wounded soldiers who live here, or Marines. I don't want to shortchange anybody who live here in North Carolina, take them out for a day of fun and thank them for coming back, because they didn't get that ticker tape parade from World War II, My point being here is that we raise the money to help all these things and many others. We haven't even mentioned Camp Carefree and all the other stuff that we do. Mostly it's children or it's people who cannot help themselves, and we go out and help those people with the money. Sure, we use our hands and our backs and our minds, but it takes money to grease the skids to make things work. And we only raise money once a year, and we're doing that by selling these tickets. Now, y'all, Nosik's not here, so I can pick on him a little bit, but I saw him yesterday, and he was telling me he had sold 2 tickets. And he said, I didn't really have to sell them. I just told a friend of mine what we were doing. He asked me to do something that weekend. He said, well, this is what I'm doing. He said, well, I would like to help with that. How can I help? And John said, well, you could come to the event and you could buy 2 tickets. Boom. The tickets were done. John didn't have to do a thing to sell the tickets. He's only got one to go, but I bet he does more than that. My tickets are sold. I've got people just clamoring to come to the concert, particularly with my kids. So
They're
please.
selling themselves. I mean, they really are. If you get the word out, these tickets. will
All you
sell
have to do is
themselves.
tell somebody what you're doing, and it'll sell. But please, we only raise money once a year, and we need a lot of money to do all the things we do. We can't get it done. We're limited in the good works we can do by how much cash we raise. It sounds horrible to put it that way, because we can do other things. But even going to Camp for Carefree and working, you got to have the lumber, you got to have the nails, you got to have the paint, you got to have the tin roof, you got to have whatever else you got to have. So please go out there and sell the stuff. Just tell people what you're doing, and if they don't ask how they can help, ask them if they'll help you. People love to help. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Bobby should filibustered your meeting.
Hey, we Republicans are good for that. We're going to shut this thing down. Buster, how about a round of happy dollars?
How about a round of happy dollars? I guess I gotta be quick. We got a lot going on. So get your hand up. Come on, come on, come on. There you go. Come on. All right, that's enough.
My happy dollars because my husband is coming home today, and he's been gone a week. And a week ago, I was having lunch with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law and my mom, and because my father-in-law was headed to South Dakota to go pheasant hunting, and Matthew wasn't going to go this year. But through that lunch, somehow, my mother-in-law and my mother told Matthew that they had it covered. Just go to South Dakota, and literally he left the next morning at 4:30 to go. So I have had my mother and my mother-in-law helping me with Sadie for the last week, and I am really looking forward to it. But he said, "I'm really excited to be home with you and Sadie, and hopefully we'll go do this, that, and the other." And I said, "There's no we going to do this, that, and the other. For the first 24 hours you are home, it is you going to do this, that, and the other. I will be alone."
Go on, say that right into the camera.
I just want to thank Hal Stansel for allowing me to recarpet his office. I appreciate it, Hal.
You're right. He's the carpet man.
Great job.
Did you get it to match his tie?
I'll make it quick. In my house, my grandchildren refer to it's grandmother's car, it's grandmother's house, it's everything's grandmother. So I'm okay with that. My granddaughter came up to me yesterday and she gave me a big hug and she goes, "I love you, old pal. You smell just like grandmother's house." Pig stock is not this Saturday, but next Saturday. We've been tracking the weather. It's going to be perfect. Please get online and buy tickets. If you haven't bought tickets, do it today. If you have any trouble, just call me. I'll put you on the will call list. Airport Rotary is making me look bad. We sold 4 tickets in this club. Airport's bought 40. So we need some support for Gate City. I know, Richard, you don't count. So Saturday, November 2nd, bring a lawn chair, 3 o'clock to 11 o'clock. We got music all day. It'll be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Right.
Dane, yeah, we got it.
Okay, quick. I just wanted to let you guys know there's a lot of mess out in front of my house going on. Driggers is over here next to me here in all this rumble. We had 2 big trees taken down. If you ever need a guy that can do a great work, his name's Sam Bridges.
Yeah. Hi, Jonathan. Last one.
Okay, lifelong student of behavioral econ. So I get this letter in the mail. It says it's a survey from the Sterling Foundation. They say, if you will answer all these questions, we will give you a brand new shiny dollar bill. And the behavioral econ people say that you'll either answer that survey and send it in, or you'll give that dollar away. You won't take it.
All right, Mike Allen, one last.
Very briefly, the crop walk was a lot of fun. It was a great success. Thanks to those who supported me, my family, this club. It was Foster, Jim Kennedy, Dennis Marcotte, Dennis Newman, Bobby Christensen. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone, but thanks to all of you. It was a great event.
It's like 80,000 pounds of food, right?
A lot of food, yeah.
Something like that.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Well, there was a news story in the paper, and it said that all the flags that the astronauts took and put on the moon, the American flags, had, because of the radiation from the sun, they were all just bleached totally white. And Grandpappy said, great, now everybody's gonna think the French were there.
You just can't make that stuff up. All right. Today is a very special day in Gate City Rotary, and I'm going to turn this portion of the meeting over to Dennis. We have some brand new members, some strong backs, and it's a great day to be a Rotarian. Take it away, Dennis.
As Kelly in his email yesterday said, it's a great day to be a Rotarian. This is a super great day to be a Rotarian because we got 4 members, new members that we're going to got. Robbie, if you could come up. One of the other things I decided to do is Robbie has a flair for things, and I don't. So I'm going to have Robbie do the actual induction. And we'll all the inductees, you know who you are, and your sponsors, please come up.
Thank you, Dennis. It is always a proud moment to introduce new Rotarians, and for those of us remaining charter members of this club way back in 1991, it is a special thing to see how far we've come, and always a special moment to introduce any new member. We are very privileged at this time, and it is my great pleasure this morning to welcome 4 new members as our latest additions to this wonderful club. They are Eric Parker, Dale Hopkins, Howard Driggers, and Brian Kaiser. And I would first ask briefly for their sponsoring members to tell us each a little bit about our new members.
Well, this is Brian Kaiser. He grew up behind the counter of a Chick-fil-A restaurant from the time he was very young. He's been a young life leader. He's married to a young life leader, and he has a very enthusiastic heart.
This is Erica Parker. She is actually from this area. School here, went to college here, and then I guess job obligations took her to Atlanta for a while, took her to West Virginia, but she's back home, and it's going to be a welcome addition to Gate City Rotary.
It's a pleasure for me to introduce Dale Hopkins. Dale is with Hoffman & Hoffman, and since Rusty left, I said I've always been looking for somebody to replace Rusty, and he is a VP at Rusty's place. He's a graduate of NC State, and I met him actually at the gym, and got to know him there, and ended up, it just all clicked, and I said, you need to be a Rotarian, and here he is. And I have.
We have Howard Driggers. Actually, Howard's been in Greensboro not very long. He moved here this summer, and his background is, he is a former Rotarian from Wilmington, which made things a lot easier, huh? You knew exactly you wanted to be in this club, and he's with Xerox, and he has a couple of kids and his wife, and so welcome.
All right, very good. All right. Well, Erica, Dale, Howard, Brian, I'm here to tell you that you have been chosen for membership for the Rotary Club of Gate City. Your sponsor and fellow members believe that you are going to be, and that you are, a leader in your special line of work, and that you embody the qualities of head and heart that fit you to interpret and impart the message of Rotary. Rotary calls regularly. I'm here to tell you that you are the representative of your vocation to this club. At the same time, you become now an ambassador of Rotary. We rely on you to carry the principles and ideals of service to those with whom you work. Additionally, we expect you to help inspire us, your fellow members, to become better Rotarians. I now ask each of the sponsoring members to present you with a distinguishing lapel pin of a Rotarian. As you do that, it is our hope that you will wear it proudly for others to see. Also included is your official certificate of membership in Rotary that Dennis has. We also have a declaration of the four-way test to help you to be reminded of what it means to be a Rotarian. Allow us all at this time to offer you the right hand of Rotary Fellowship. Fellow members and guests, our welcome today is not only in anticipation of the good fellowship we'll share with you here on Thursday mornings and during social outings. We welcome you for your strong arms and sturdy back, which will help us carry out our many service projects, which in a small yet significant way make our community, our country, and our world a better place for all to live. Now, for all here, Rotarians and non-Rotarians alike, it's important for us to be reminded of a few facts. First, Rotary is not a political organization, but all Rotarians are vitally concerned with everything pertaining to good citizenship and the election of good men and women to public office. Rotary is not a charitable organization, yet its activities exemplify the charity and the sacrifices that one should expect from people who believe that they have a responsibility to help others. Rotary is not a religious organization, but it is built on those eternal principles that have served as the moral compass for people throughout the ages, as well as the foundation of our great country. Rotary is an organization of business and professional people pledged to upholding the highest professional standards. Rotarians believe that worldwide fellowship and international peace can be achieved when business people unite under the banner of service. Now, once again, I would ask and request that everyone please stand for the final commitment of the following. Once again, you've been chosen for membership in Gate City. You are the representatives of your location for this club. You are also the ambassadors from this point forth of Rotary to your vocation, to your community, and to the world. Allow us all at this time, once again, to offer the right hand of Rotary Fellowship. Fellow members and guests, I have the honor once again of presenting our newest Rotarians, Erica, Dale, Howard, and Brian. Remember, Rotarians, I once again would invite each of you to introduce yourselves once again. Answer this charge and this call that you have stepped up in accepting membership and the invitation of fellowship and service above self. Welcome.
That's two. Good job. Well, it certainly looks like we have the Sergeant at Arms job pretty well covered for the next 2 years. At this time, I'll turn it over to Kelly Harrell to introduce our speaker.
Good morning. We have a great speaker for you today. I'm delighted to be able to introduce to you Sean Roberts. Sean, I know through his wife. We hired her as a national sales manager for the Sheraton Corey Convention Center last year. And as I heard about Sean, I thought this would be a wonderful speaker for our club and what Sean has gone through as his enlistment in the United States Army. Sean and Kelly are from Winter Park, Florida. Sean joined the Army in 2006 and was stationed initially at Fort Riley before deployment to southern Baghdad in Iraq. He was then stationed in Germany and was then deployed again, a second year-long deployment to Kandahar in Afghanistan for a year. So 2 deployments basically for a year within 3 years. Sean is currently back in Greensboro and is currently a student at GTCC and is pursuing his associate's degree on his way to his bachelor's degree and is hoping to eventually get into law school. His story is pretty remarkable, as you will hear what he went through in Baghdad through a near-death experience during an engagement there. And what he's going to talk to us today is what he has learned from what happened to him there and how he is using those life skills to move forward. And I know this will be an inspirational story for us all. Everyone, please welcome Sean Roberts.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Thank you to the Rotary Club for having me here today. It's an honor and it's a privilege. But before I begin, I want to set your expectations as low as possible. That way it's difficult for you to be disappointed, because I want to remind you I'm not a professional speaker by any means. I'm probably the furthest thing from it. But anyway, what I'd like to do today is share with you some experiences I've had in Afghanistan, Iraq, in the military, how I apply those positive lessons to my daily life when I'm in need of motivation. But first, I'll give you some additional background information to add on to what Kelly said. I was born and raised outside Orlando, Florida. I joined the Army shortly after high school. I think it's important to note that I didn't join the military because I had no other option or because I didn't do well in school. I joined because where I saw war, I saw an opportunity. I saw an opportunity to serve my community, to serve my country, but also to gain combat experience for myself as the adrenaline junkie that I am. So I enlisted as a scout in the U.S. Army. Now, in a conventional war, and however we know Iraq, Afghanistan are not conventional wars, although sometimes it felt like it. In a conventional war, it is the role of the scout to move ahead of the main force in smaller groups to spy on suspected enemy locations, to report back to the battlefield commander, and if necessary, engage the enemy. But, however, I said Iraq and Afghanistan are counterinsurgency conflicts. They are not conventional wars. So, relatively all combat MOSs were assigned the same general tasks. So that includes scouts like myself, the infantry, tank operators were assigned relatively the same tasks. Presence patrol was a common one. It's similar to what police officers do in your neighborhood. They patrol around to let you guys know that you're safe, you're secure. We would also walk around and talk to some of the locals and try to gain intel if there's been any enemy or security issues within that area. Another common task that we would do is act on intelligence. And intelligence can come in many forms. If there's a high value target that we've been following, we would have his cell phone on kind of like a tracking service. If we received a ping, or if we gained intelligence from a tip from a local national, we would act on that intelligence depending on what the situation dictated. We'd also clear enemy operating cells and supply lines. Well, a good example of that is my sector in Afghanistan was full of rat lines, and by rat lines I mean supply lines. They would bury just trash can barrels full of beheading knives, artillery rounds, other explosives, machine guns, ammunition, all kinds of stuff like that. So those were some common tasks that we were assigned during these conflicts. Now, I was stationed in Kansas for 3 years. From there, as Kelly said, I deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom with the 1st Infantry Division from October 2008 to October 2009 in southern Baghdad. I operated in areas such as Latakia, Yusufia, Mahmudiyah, and the infamous Abu Ghraib. But when I was in Iraq, I didn't feel the sense of purpose or fulfillment that I joined the military to gain. For me, the fight was in Afghanistan because that's where the September 11th attacks were planned. That's where the conspiracy began against us. So to me, that's where the fight was, and that's where I wanted to be. So when I was in Iraq, I re-enlisted to join a unit that was shortly deploying to Afghanistan. So upon my return from Iraq, I moved duty stations from Kansas to Germany, and then in June of 2010, I deployed to Kandahar City with the majority of the American troops surge. I operated out of a small outpost within an Afghan village on the western outskirts of Kandahar City. right where the Argandab River Valley began. My area of operation consisted mainly of lush vegetation, pomegranate orchards, marijuana fields, poppy fields, and all of the villages consisted of mud and clay. It was a very, very primitive society. So a specific incident that I want to talk about occurred in Kandahar City on December 23rd, 2010. At the time, I was operating as the senior scout. Now, the senior scout is the soldier. It was my job to navigate from point A to point B. Depending on the mission objectives, we say we have to go to this village or here or there. It would be my job to set the route and lead the way. So my lieutenant had just finished speaking with village elders in a specific area, and then I led the troops on foot back to post. When all of a sudden I felt a shock wave just ripple through my body. I woke up on the ground, and when I woke up it felt as if someone had taken a firecracker, put it in my ear canal, and lit it. And then I had a very, very intense headache. I couldn't see, but that was because of the dust that had been thrown in the air. And then if anybody has seen Saving Private Ryan, if you remember the scene where Tom Hanks approaches the beaches of Normandy and he first encounters the German troops and everything's kind of in slow motion, he's looking around, everything's in slow motion, all of a sudden he snaps back into reality. Well, based on a few encounters that I've had, I say that's a pretty accurate depiction on what it's like when your adrenaline kicks in when you first engage an enemy or in a situation like that. But for me, what snapped me back into reality was the voices of my soldiers behind me. They were yelling the voice of another soldier's name, a soldier that had been right next to me. And so I knew in my head something was probably wrong with him. So not knowing the extent of my own injuries, not knowing whether or not the situation had been contained, I got up and I walked in the direction where I thought he might be. And I did find him. I found him laying face down on the ground. So what I did is I rolled him over, and my training kicked in. I didn't really have to think. I began my medical assessments, began rendering first aid until the platoon medic arrived on site. And when I was no longer needed, I stepped off to the side, I took a knee, and I tried to get a grasp on the situation. What had just happened? Was it an IED? Was it an RPG? Was it indirect fire? I didn't know what was going on. I tried to get a grasp on the situation when I heard a soldier in my squad yelling that they had seen the silhouette of somebody running in the opposite direction of our position about 300 meters away. So myself and two others, we ran in his direction. We ran through the farm fields, in and out of the dry canal beds, and sure enough, we found this guy laying down, hiding behind a tractor. Now, he tried to get up and flee, but we caught up with him and we brought him down. At this time, two Afghan soldiers who we were working with, they always patrolled with us, two Afghan soldiers had caught up with us, and they knew, just as well as we did, that this was the guy. This was the guy that was responsible. This was the trigger man. So what they did is they took their AK-47s, because they all had AKs, and they grabbed it by the barrel and used it as a bat, and they began clubbing him while he was on the ground. Now, of course, I was enraged. Well, enraged isn't the word to describe it, but I knew that he was the person that was almost successful in taking my life and the life of another. So, as he was laying on the ground, being beaten, I took a step forward, so I was kind of hovering over him. He was relatively beneath me. And I took my M4, I put it on fire, put my finger on the trigger, and I pointed at his head. Now keep in mind, before you judge, because I had a concussion, I didn't really have the cognitive ability to decipher, okay, this is a noble route to go, this is what I should or shouldn't do. But somehow, some form of conscience took a hold of me, and I put my weapon back on safe, and I took a step back. In hindsight, I'm very glad that I did that because he ended up being the 4th most wanted insurgent in all of Kandahar province. So I'm confident because we had him alive, we had his cell phone, which was ringing as we were getting all the evidence. I'm pretty sure that was his boss trying to get an assessment of what had happened. I'm confident that we were able to get intelligence on the bigger picture rather than just one more dead insurgent. But this situation stands out to me for one other, probably more important reason. When the EOD team, EOD stands for Explosive Ordnance Disposal, they're the bomb technicians. So they arrived on site and they diffused the situation and assessed the situation, and they showed me the ground. They assessed that we had been hit with a 4 IED daisy chain. And by daisy chain, I mean multiple explosives hooked, wired together to one detonation device. And 3 of those 4 IED, and they were 15-pound jugs of ammonium nitrate powder, which are highly explosive. It's a more concussive blast. It's not like a metal shrapnel blast. It's a concussive blast. But 3 of those 4 IEDs had went off, and he showed me where the 4th one was, and immediately my heart sank because that was the exact position I had been standing at the time of the detonation. Now, best case scenario, I think I could have survived. If it had gone off, I might have survived, but I would probably be missing both of my legs if I had survived, had that gone off. Now, I say that because there had been 2 other similar successful attacks on American troops in the immediate vicinity that I was operating. One, the soldier died. The second one, the soldier lost both of his legs and his right hand. But anyway, there's 2 important lessons, positive lessons that I take from situation. I think this situation exemplifies it, but also others that I encountered. The first one is that life is a gift. You should never take 1 second, 1 minute, 1 moment for granted. I feel like because of this and other situations that happened, that I was given a second chance. I was given a second chance to live my life, to make something of myself, a second chance to help others, a second chance to start a family. The second lesson I take from my experiences are to never stay down. By that I mean, no matter what your life's struggles are, no matter what the hardships you're going through, don't let them keep you down. Because if you do, you'll let those hardships define who you are. To put this into context, in the situation I described to you, it would have been okay if I would have just stayed on the ground. It would have been all right because I suffered a concussion, a traumatic brain injury, and a blown out eardrum. My senior officers, soldiers, they would have said, it's okay. Sergeant Roberts had a TBI, so he was out of the fight. But I wasn't going to let a degenerate insurgent define my character. So I got up, and my soldiers, my senior officers, they said, Sergeant Roberts, he got a TBI, but he still got up, and he took the person who was responsible, he took him down. And he didn't let a TBI stop him from doing what he came to Afghanistan to do. He didn't take a day off, he didn't take a patrol off, he didn't take 1 mission off. I believe that overcoming adversity is one of the many important keys to success. I believe that if you make the most of what you have in front of you, success will always be at an arm's length, and you, or myself, I will be the only one to ever hold me back from anything. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my speech. Once again, thank you very much for having me. It's been a privilege. It's been an honor. Thank you, and God bless.
privately. We're going to donate a book to Cone Elementary School, Uncle Sam's America. And it's inscribed with your name and this date. We'll donate it to the school. It'll be there forever. But thank you for your service to our country, and gosh, you know, it certainly makes you think about things a little differently than maybe how we came in here this morning.
Sean, Chip and I and many others in the club would like to sponsor you to an event that you heard a little bit about this morning that's called Enduring Gratitude. It's something that Chip's been very highly involved in for a long time. It'll take place in February. It's a way just for a group of people to give back to soldiers, airmen, Marines that have given so much. And we'd like to sponsor you to come down on February the 2nd and be with us if you can make it.
Absolutely.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Meeting today, and one thing I forgot to do, and I should have done it when Chip was talking about the good things we do with this money from the fundraiser. And we'll take just a moment. Jonathan and his guest Stephanie, and I have a check to present here to the Greensboro Children's Museum for $1,000, and it goes to the Edible Schoolyard. And we're going to have, we'll get more information, but I don't want to say anything for a moment how that money will be used.
Well, I did just want to say thank you so much for this gift, and I look forward to coming back in January and talking more about what we do and how we're going to use this. So thanks again.
Fantastic.
Fundraiser dollars at work.
You gotta raise them before you can fund them, right?
Yes, right. You gotta raise them first. Sean, if you would please pull a winning raffle, not a losing, but a winning raffle ticket. We'll just read the last. You gotta read the last three numbers.
Last three?
Yeah. It's all rigged.
It's all rigged. All the same numbers. I've got 776.
Oh, that's me.
All right.
All right.